MrBeast is in Angry Birds 3.
They put MrBeast in the Angry Birds movie!
And I want to say, why would they do that? Like, why? What is this? Where are we? What time is it? What year are we in?
But actually, no, this makes total solid sense. Did you even know there was an Angry Birds 3 coming? Because it's a thing. Despite the fact that the Angry Birds video game app came out in like 2008, 2007, and then the Angry Birds movies themselves released when the app was already gone and dying. Add on to the fact that the second movie didn't even make that big of a profit, gaining about 150 million off of 60 million as a budget. And you'd probably come to the same conclusion that this movie franchise is gone, it's dead, it's finished, maybe it's a reboot. But no, a solid 11 years later, there's now a third installment, and we'd actually done a little bit of coverage on this movie before, talking about the initial announcement and where our thoughts lied on it, which was very much, why? Why are they doing this? Is this really gonna work? Are people interested in Angry Birds in the decade of the 2020s? And my conclusion was no. Nice try. The Smurfs are doing reboots. The Minecraft movie is a big video game adaptation, so hey, maybe it's the time for more video game adaptations. But now, I think we could see the spin they're running with it. No one really cares about Angry Birds, the game franchise, these days. But you know what they do care about? YouTuber integrations. And so, Jimmy Donaldson is getting involved. We don't know exactly who he's playing yet, but I think it's so emblematic of the direction Angry Birds is going. And surprisingly enough, it's not actually coming entirely out of nowhere on both fronts. MrBeast in animated movies and Angry Birds taking on YouTubers, neither of those are new, surprisingly enough. Now, I don't need to give you much of an introduction to MrBeast. We all know about him at this point. It's the default person people think about nowadays when you think of YouTuber, pros and cons as that may be. And you probably are already aware of the fact that he's done Beast games, and he's done a more literal redo of the Squid Game formula. You're probably aware of his several different channels, or at least the main one where he does a gimmicky TV show kind of thing. You get it, you know it. However, they're also a little bit more involved when they're not burgeoning their own industry with their own Amazon series. They also do like to get a little bit involved on the voice acting side sometimes, as they actually have credits in the likes of Love, Death and Robots, Kung Fu Panda 4, Under the Boardwalk, wow, that is niche, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Didn't realize it at the time. If I had, I would have probably put more emphasis on paying attention to that, but what can you do? Either way, he's been around, making his little cameos, doing little bits and bobs, so coming towards the Angry Birds 3 movie, in that sense, makes sense. And you could see that they've been running at it on the press and the marketing. Although also, I love these articles because they never say anything of substance. It's just the classic, MrBeast is the most subscribed YouTuber. Here's some numbers. Oh, he makes a lot of money. Oh, come see movie. And I love this kind of stuff. It's not that, nitty gritty. But also alongside that, we get all of the rest of the cast list. Some of these people we knew before. A lot of them are the original cast coming back. You got the likes of Josh Gad, Jason Sudeikis, Rachel Bloom, Kiki Palmer, Emma Myers. Hey, Minecraft girl, of course. She's in everything these days, so keep it going, I guess. But also in the cast list, and one I'd kind of forgotten about since, it's been literal years since the last ones, is at the very bottom of the list, you have Anthony Padilla and Ian Hecox. The old school most subscribed YouTubers in the world, and they were involved in the previous Angry Birds movies, playing the role of Hal and Bubbles. I didn't realize, again, watched the Angry Birds movie, did not notice. And they too also appear in animated movies sometimes, and that's kind of nice, kind of cool. It's still just kind of running with the marketing and pushing in an influencer in, but hey, if the marketing works, the marketing works. They are gaming-ish related in that sense. Hey there, thank you for making it to the halfway mark of this video. Come subscribe if you haven't already for more animated movie news. Can't guarantee it'll always be MrBeast, but there you go. Cheers anyway. It's also kind of the classic thing, especially back then, of always YouTubers coming in pairs and then appearing in other movies. Whether it was epic rap battles of history showing up in the SpongeBob movies, Dan and Phil appearing in Big Hero 6, and apparently Smosh showing up in the Angry Birds. It is a little bit of a historical formula, and hey, they had their own established characters, why not bring them back if they're interested? There's then, particularly in this cast list, another new addition, a fourth influencer to the mix that's an interesting one. This one I'm not familiar with, maybe you are, I'd be surprised if you are, and that is in the form of Salish Matter. Now, this is a 15-year-old influencer who is kind of your classic influencer, you know? If I showed you the only 13 videos she has on her channel, you'd be like, oh, wow, what? Crazy. And it's not the first time there were 15-year-old influencers. It's just this is the newest generation. Although looking into it more, suddenly it makes more sense when you realize their father was also a YouTuber, and they've been gunning at it for 14, 15 years. Grumbles and biases you might have towards a classic influencer saying, buy my product, get ready with me, whilst also being just the child of another successful parent. It's also just very industry. So I'm gonna leave an open mind. Hey, maybe they can perform well. They have connections to Nickelodeon's Kids' Choice Awards and all the rest of it. It's just somebody new I don't realize. But either way, a right kickflip in the marketing when you suddenly see, yes, Angry Birds 3, that exists. MrBeast is in the middle of it. This is how the movie is going to try to stay relevant, and I'm very curious to see how well that will do. I think this is one of the hardest pushes I've seen for the news that MrBeast is in a movie, but I think we'll have to see just how heavy-handed that actually influences things. As we said earlier, while the first Angry Birds movie did decently well, it was already kind of outdated to the movie it was based off, and the sequel really noticed the passing of time and didn't make all that much back. Whilst also, those were Sony movies, and this third one is not. With Sony now taking much more creative and super successful prompts and going off with them, flying the nest, this is now taking a little bit of a step back, going with more old school, remember the good old times, and it'll be really interesting to see where this goes. I initially had very low hopes for it, admittedly. The fact that MrBeast is in it might help it a little bit. We'll see. They've also, at the same time, announced that they're changing the upload schedule, so it's no longer coming out January 29th. It's coming out, like, December 23rd. I don't know if this is going to be specifically a Christmas movie. Is there snow everywhere on this tropical island? I have no idea. But it's also now clashing a few days after Avengers Doomsday. So I think they just want to fail. But maybe that makes sense for a franchise about birds suicide slingshotting into enemy territory and crushing their face and bodies into it. This movie seems like the physical representation of just, you know? But that sure was a surprise shock of an image to receive right before going to bed the other night. Angry Birds 3 is real. They're bringing in the biggest, most influencery influencers to try and peril themselves up. I'm certainly gonna watch it around Christmas. I guess I could take Christmas Eve off next year, 2026. But maybe even just the concept, the sentence MrBeast in Angry Birds 3 is funny enough to run with. And chances are, if it goes terribly, that's all the better for me. For now, though, that's all I've got to say, because it's just marketing rambling about all the different things MrBeast has done. Fingers crossed his character at least knows how to smile with his eyes. For now, though, my name's been Daz. Thank you very much for reaching the end of this video. Do tell me your thoughts about Angry Birds 3. What do you think MrBeast is gonna do in this one? Do you think they're gonna reference money bags? Like he'll just be an insert, literally? Surely not, right? They wouldn't stoop that low. The Smosh representation's actually pretty nice. We'll see. And I shall see you all in a little bit. Cheerio!